11 minutes of nonstop news, your Weather Authority forecast, and SWX sports headlines. This is KHQ Local News, 11 at 11.
Fire rips through a multi-story home today, heavily damaging the structure and displacing more than 6 people. Good evening and thank you for watching KHQ Local News 11 at 11. I'm Stephanie Vigil. The first call came to 911 about 3:30 this afternoon of a house fire in the area of Nora, that's east of Gonzaga University on the north side of the Spokane River. More than 6 hours after the fire started, crews remain in the area investigating a cause tonight. And that's where we find Patrick Erickson now. He joins us live with the latest details. Patrick?
Stephanie, good evening. Nearly 8 hours later, fire crew is still on scene here. As you can see behind me, they're actually throwing more water on top, dealing with some flare-ups right now. And just to give you an idea how hot this was earlier today, it was in the mid-80s outside. Inside, it was so hot. At one point, one firefighter was actually injured when his suit started melting to his arm. Now, that was just one of 4 different injuries earlier today. The other 3 all heat related, and it all started at about 3:30 this afternoon here on the 1200 block of East Nora. That's just north of Mission Park. The original call to 911 said that there was possibly a child inside the home. At the time of in that home, it was actually split into 2 different apartments. Now, the first crews on scene immediately began to search as that fire grew and temperatures inside began to rise. Now, after a complete sweep and confirming with families that no one was inside, those firefighters then pulled out into what's called a defensive mode, keeping the fire from spreading to other nearby homes. Now, 3 firefighters suffered minor injuries. They had to be treated for heat exhaustion. 1 had that arm injury, and tonight we found out there was actually another firefighter. So in total, 4 were actually injured, none seriously. And talking to Chief Bobby Williams on scene earlier, he said the fire actually started on the south side before spreading throughout the entire house. Firefighters will remain on scene outside of this century-old home throughout the night in case of any flare-ups or hot spots.
We'll use thermal imaging cameras to see if there's fire in the wall, and then it's manual labor of tearing those walls out, wetting them down to make sure we don't have any fire. That's why we'll have a fire crew here all night, fire watch, because with this, there's going to be enough hidden pockets in there that the fire can burn in walls for a long time.
Now, Red Cross will be assisting the 2 families. We heard 7 adults and now 1 child will be assisted by Red Cross at this point. The cause of the fire remains under investigation, and again, firefighters will remain here on scene throughout the night, doing exactly what they're doing right now, taking care of any hotspots, making sure there are no flare-ups, and the houses once again on both sides of this home on the 1200 block of East Nora remain safe. Reporting live in East Central Spokane, Patrick Erickson, KHQ Local News.
Patrick, thank you. This week is Arson Awareness Week, and while it does not look like today's fire is arson, the U.S. Fire Administration has guidelines to follow that you can help keep your home and your loved one protected. Firefighters suggest clearing brush away from the sides of your house and cleaning up anything flammable in your yard. Designate a safe meeting spot and always install and test smoke detectors. Well, target shooting is a fun activity for many people in our area, and with these warm, sunny days, more shooters are heading outdoors for some practice. While then, firefighters want you to know that those shots could spark a massive wildfire. Target shooting sparks several brush fires every year throughout the Washington area. They are easy to avoid, though, if everyone obeys the laws. So if a bullet hits a rock and sparks on the dry grass, a fire can spread rapidly. While the fire level now remains low, the recent warm spring weather could dry out vegetation earlier than usual, making it crucial for people to get the message now before the next fire sparks.
People are not allowed to shoot in there like they used to. That was a hot area for us last year, and because of that, the homeowners or the landowners and the sheriff's office have got together and they're restricting those areas. Best thing to do for target shooting is, go to a shooting range.
The fire officials say they can predict with 100% reliability that people will ignore restrictions and find other places to target shoot and spark another hot spot. So if you see anything illegal, well, you should report it. If this spring's unseasonably warm weather is drawing you to lakes or rivers this weekend, be careful because snowmelt is causing high, fast, cold river flows. Kirsten Ramsing joins us now with more information on how you can enjoy your recent warm weather on waterways very safely. Kirsten?
And Stephanie, no doubt about it, the weather has been wonderful, and who doesn't want to dip into the nice cold water on a hot day? But just because the water may look nice, could even look calm on the top, the current this time of year is so strong. Combined with cold water temperatures, swimmers can find themselves in a very dangerous situation very carefully. So to protect yourself and your loved ones when enjoying the rivers and the lakes, always follow these very safety guidelines. Always wear personal flotation devices, even if you are an adult. It's always a good idea to attach an emergency alert whistle to your life jacket. Remember that water is extremely cold in the spring and know the symptoms of hypothermia. And of course, you always want to make sure that your head is above the water. Hypothermia can begin in 1 hour or less depending on the temperature. And you want to make sure that you're aware of those strong currents or even the undertows. And of course, always obey warning signs near the dam. And finally tonight, I know a lot of you think that a big orange life vest is cumbersome or perhaps even unfashionable. There are many others, like the one that I'm wearing here tonight. This is one that's super simple. Turn it around in the back. You can still wear t-shirts, tanks, maybe not, Stephanie, a suit jacket, but this is one that I really like for fishing, and it's under $100. We've posted more on water safety on our web channel, khq.com. I'm Kirsten Ramsing. Steph, back to you.
It looks very nice, Kirsten. Thank you. All right. Speaking of the warm weather, it was a great day to lounge in the sun or maybe splash around in the Rotary Fountain in downtown Spokane. Our cameras were out to capture some folks soaking up the sunshine. Some folks enjoy the flowers, maybe an ice cream cone. We've seen unseasonably warm temperatures in the 80s now. Time to check in with Leslie to find out when, I was going to say when things are going to change, but we really don't want them to change.
We don't.
So
in fact,
how long will they stick around, I should say?
Well, that we can talk about. We do talk about that. I want to know why we weren't out there at the fountain eating an ice cream cone. First of all, I mean, it's work, right? We have had unbelievable conditions for the last several days. Take a look at our current temperatures. We're still comfortably sitting in the upper 60s around Spokane. We're at 58 degrees over in Pullman, 53 in Kalispell, in the 70s, however, for Wenatchee, Moses Lake, mid 60s down towards Walla Walla, LC Valley at 70 degrees on the dot. We've got no clouds out there to speak of at all. We've seen some pop-up thunderstorms now starting to die down over into western Montana. That'll be a trend over the next several nights as we head into the weekend, mainly in the mountain locations, but we'll keep you updated as we head through the days. Tomorrow, get ready to fire up the AC again or head to the water fountain out at Riverfront Park because it is going to be a balmy 84 degrees with nothing but sunshine. A day much like what we saw today, but a little bit warmer. We'll talk about how much longer those 80s will stick around when I see you back here in just a few minutes. Steph, over to you.
Okay, it looks good. Thanks, Leslie. We are your weather authority, and since Mother Nature doesn't stop at the boundaries in the inland Northwest, well, neither do we. So check out the unfortunately heavy rains drenching parts of New York and New Jersey today. All 5 boroughs in the New York City area were hit by the downpours this morning. Localized flooding, stranded cars and motorists, and closed streets in New Jersey. The forecast calling for spotty showers this evening and more light rain Thursday. The federal government plans to spend more than $500 million to help repair damage from Superstorm Sandy. The $475 million comes from the Interior Department and will be used to repair and rebuild parks, refugees, and other land and public facilities damaged in the October storm. Money will also go towards historic preservation efforts and storm research efforts. The storm was the second costliest in the nation's history. The New York and New Jersey coastlines sustained the most damage. All right, education news tonight. High school seniors in Washington will soon graduate with more than just math and science skills. They're also going to need to learn some life-saving skills. Starting this fall, all high school students will get CPR training under a new mandate signed into law today by Governor Jay Inslee. Students aren't required to get certification, But the state-required health class, usually taught in 9th or 10th grade, will now include a day or two of CPR training. Sudden cardiac arrest kills about 1,000 people a day across the United States. Immediately getting CPR started can double or even triple a person's chance of survival.
I think it is a big plus for America, period. If Washington State does it, that means people will follow, other states will follow. And it needs to be taught, it needs to be known. Odds are you're going to do it at least once in your life.
According to the American Heart Association, more than 1/3 of high schools in Washington already teach CPR. The new law makes it universal. On the money tonight, the cost of going to a private college may actually be affordable this fall. For the first time, private institutions like Gonzaga and Whitworth are going to offer record financial assistance to keep enrollment up. According to a survey released this week by the National Association of College and University Business Officers, the average reduction for students hit an all-time high last year of 45%. Now even more private colleges will be forced into offering greater tuition discounts for incoming freshmen this fall. More consumer news now, and teens looking to secure a summer job may even have to pay for college in the future are in for a harsh reality. According to the Employment Policies Institute, teen unemployment, which looks at those 16 to 19 years old, is nearly 25% going into summer of 2013. Even more bad news, though, Washington has the 6th highest teen unemployment rate of nearly 28%. It's a little better in Idaho at 20.4%. Authors of the report blame the recent recession and 40% minimum wage increase between 2007 and 2009. Well, the end of the school year is on the horizon, but Dan and I had one more road trip to make for our Teacher of the Month award. Is Mr. Carter. He is. What a fine man. We traveled south to Garfield Palouse High School. Buddy Carter is this month's winner, nominated by one of his students, Chandler Paff. Chandler's 2 older brothers also had Mr. Carter. All 3 of them wrote a letter, and it was just wonderful, the things that they said about him. Chandler says he's not just a teacher in the classroom, that Mr. Carter teaches life lessons. Congratulations, Buddy Carter of Garfield Palouse High School, our Eastern Washington University KHQ Teacher of the Month. Always a fun time. All right, a new study out today shows some major discrepancies in what hospitals charge for basic procedures. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll take a closer look at just how different the charges are and what this means for the overall cost of health care.
A record night for a former Washington State Cougar, but would Klay Thompson's big night be enough for the Warriors in the NBA playoffs? That's coming up later in sports.
And right after the break, we take a closer look at the best and worst places in the world to have a baby.
Watch KHQ Local News and Ellen on your mobile device, free in the App Store right now.